Here, looking, and we're live. Ben, can you hear this? Yo, it's the Veve Bros. Yeah, they can't hear, but that's our theme song in the making. That's our theme song in the making. You heard a little preview right now, and we're gonna say it for next week because we're working on that. Welcome back, everybody, to another week, another episode of the Veve Bros.
What up? What up?
So, it was another great week in the space, a great weekend all around. We're all just kind of, making our way through this year, making our way through this month. A lot of craziness, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And as always, we have this beautiful little app that just takes us away from reality. So let's get into these drops this past week. Let's go. We have 5 drops.
You didn't tell me how your weekend was. You said that was your weekend drop?
I mean, everything was pretty much cool. Like, I didn't hit no drops. I'm going to talk about it right now on the drop. I mean, everything's like same old same, business as usual.
Yeah, right? So we did have 5 drops. We had the Uncanny X-Men 96, which was I'm not even sure which one exactly it was. First appearance of somebody, I know that, usually. Oh, bad. They have it all mixed up here when I try to have it up.
Uncanny what's her name?
This one actually has dope cover.
Or Merc or something like that. What's her name?
Moira McTaggart.
Moira
McTaggart. And she's come out in the movies already in the Days of Future Past and all that. Her link to Professor Xavier, a lot of speculation on that, whether she's going to have a more important role now that Professor X has been confirmed for the Doctor Strange movie. I didn't hit on that one on the drop, missed it. I did pick up one, I think, in the market pretty cheap. It was below the list price right away.
Yeah, I was telling Eastwood to stack on it. I'm like, stack this one. It's gonna be not like Ghost Rider, but I'm like, this is a good one to stack because it could go up.
It's not She-Hulk, get it.
Yeah,
you gotta make sure you get it. You
don't pay $50 for no She-Hulk. Trust me.
Did you guys get that one? You ended up picking it up, Ben? X-Men?
No, I didn't.
I stacked 15 copies of that one. So I just think it's a good one to stack. I think there's been a couple of them that are I just see them in the future and everything's up being $20 comics. $17 to $20 comics, so you can pick them up.
This is not financial advice, everybody.
None of this is financial advice.
None of this is offered purely entertainment. He told me pick up a bunch, but he picked up 15. I picked up, I think, 4 of them, 3 of them. Good mints, though. People were posting some low mints for cheap. And we'll get into that too, whether that matters.
I kind of went crazy on it, dude. I was just buying them left and right. If I could get them under listing price, under $7.
I ain't really got money to spend. I just bought 15 of those.
Hey, but that ran me like $80. And then I'll tell you, it's a nice little. Because where are you gonna put the money right now? We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna cover a lot in today's episode. Let's get the
other drops. We had on Saturday. We had the 2 drops for the Ukraine Relief Project, which was the Ron English collab with them, and it was a lot of it was. I think all the proceeds were donated. Right, to
the net proceeds.
Yeah.
I didn't go for it.
Me either.
They did raise a bunch of money though. I forgot what the final figure was, but they did raise a gang of money.
Saturday, I was going through getting all my quarters and nickels out of the couch and trying to see what's up because they had already announced that Pixar was coming on Sunday, the Pixar Pals. So I didn't go for the Ukraine one either. I didn't even check out the market after. Some people are speculating that it's bigger than it is and that it's like a big moment, to be a part of and to have, but I ain't got the investment tools right now to go into just every single thing that comes out. And with the Pixar being announced, it was like, oh no, that's not the one to go for.
I passed on this one just because I was like, I kind of just feel like the market is just gonna always it's not a good time. So you could go for the drop, but then it could get under listing price, which
that Matt Gondik one is already at one. It was at 120, I think.
It went under $100.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it under 100. I saw it at 120.
It went under 100. So for this one, it was more like if you really want to support, then get the drop and try to. That's the way of giving Ukraine, giving them financial help. So to some people, it was like a big thing, but for me, it was like I'm not really trying to flip it. It didn't really interest me past, the market's kind of dead. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna pass on this one.
And then it led us into Sunday morning. Paint the picture for you. Nobody in the house using the Wi-Fi, nobody at all. I'm right there standing right next to the modem. And I hit on the Pixar Pals, my 3rd drop hit ever on the app. For all you people
Disney drops. This guy's the Disney drop fucking king.
I don't know, man. I struck out.
I ended up getting the Lightning McQueen. It took forever for me to get it. I was low-key thinking about flipping it when I first got it. He was already in my ear in the text message like, you gotta flip it. Post it up right now. and it stood around like 230 for a little bit, and then the undercutters were like at 198, 199, 180. Now I think it's like at 130, 140, where it's settled at. But that drop was big, man. Drop was really dope. I liked all of them, honestly.
Man, I was
people were
so
hating
mad
on
I didn't
Edna.
get that one, dude. I went for it. My lady went for it. But we're in Eagle Rock, so the reception sucks out there. I didn't really realize it. But man, I felt like I got through retrieving order and nothing. Strike out.
Because you were gone, I thought the Wi-Fi would get
pissed,
faster
dude.
and I'd be able to do it.
And then it ended up being that we had an
I got kicked
actual
out.
little mini grail. People calling it the big grail, with Woody being in it. The common, the most editions are Woody and a Mike Wazowski. I ended up picking up a mic in the market after. I got the I thought it was dope, man. I got the 1113. So the A113, the whole Pixar.
So Cisco
Studio
got
One.
some inside knowledge about Disney and Pixar.
The Pixar
and
studio
their-
where most of
and
the
their
artists
Easter
ran
eggs
is
that
called
they drop in every
A113.
movie.
So they dropped that Easter egg in all the Pixar movies. I was able to pick up the Mike Wazowski. The number is 1113. So if you get the numerics, like no, A equals 1. So that could be the A113. And if they take away the O,
I got lost in that.
you didn't understand that part?
I kept up. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it's
people
26
kept up.
letters in the alphabet. A is the first letter.
equals
So
I get
1
that.
being A, and then 113.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the mint. That's what I told you. Or if not, on the mint right now, it currently has the 0 in the front because there were 10,000 plus, of that edition. So even 01 is when Monsters Inc. came out. So 01, and then it still goes to the 113. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull the trigger on this one, see where it's at. I ended up being like 15 gems over because I flipped a different one that I picked up earlier of Mike Wazowski. So I got those two right now. I'm gonna get that Up House though. I'm looking to get that one for sure.
That's a dope set.
and
It's
the
not,
Woody- get 'em
and
all.
it's still not too expensive to get them when you think about like how popular Pixar is, which we're gonna get into in a little bit from this Twitter poll, which was interesting from Veve.
And then the other drop we had on Monday
Yep,
was a
we'll get into
Deadpool
it.
#1. And some people were pumped up about it. Some people were saying, nah, it's not the first appearance. It ain't the same. The storyline is dumb. The comic's kind of dumb. I saw some other videos too where they kind
Did
of.
you watch the Comics and Crypto one?
Yeah.
You did?
Yep.
They
and I-
completely were just like,
that shit was
oh, whoa,
hilarious.
you fight the Sasquatch.
They
I know
were
who does
just-
this.
They were just bagging on Ryan Reynolds too, like Teen Choice Award winner
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, Nickelodeon Choice Award winner Ryan Reynolds. Like they give him no props. It was funny. I guess they got something against them, or I don't know what that is, but
First appearance of Blind Owl, and they're saying she only comes out real quick. She like jacks the Girl Scouts or whatever or
Right.
something.
Nah, I got that one. I mean, I went for it. I didn't get it, but I did go for that drop. I thought it was pretty cool. But it's still not a comic I'm gonna stack.
I hit it on the drop, and I
Oh, your
I
first
didn't hit
rebound.
initially. I didn't hit initially, and I hit on the first rebound at 4 minutes.
First
The
rebound.
4
At
minute
8
rebound.
minutes, 8 o'clock, 8:03 with 59 seconds, 0.59 seconds.
Boom, there it is. The rebound.
Hit on it on the rebound, first rebound ever.
Sub 5%.
And about that though, on the
uncommon.
comics and crypto, how they said to sell, I think that affected the market. I think they do have that little power over where people are going to look at it.
Well, they
Or
do
that
get a lot of
or that
videos
stuff.
for it.
Yeah,
For
and
sure. We're like
and-
the only who's
and
not
on that-
influencing people's buys right now.
this
We're making
comment
content
though,
consistently.
It came out in the 90s.
I was like, man, don't
It
listen
came
to
out in-
those
it came
fools.
out in
They just suck shit.
97 though. The comic came out in 97. So I don't.
Well, they
I
had
don't
mentioned in the
agree,
video
because
that they
when
did
you-
their breakdown.
Yeah, they did. They compared it to
That-
the physical and
No, but that there was another version of Deadpool #1, one that came out a year before. Then there was this version of Deadpool #1. So there's two different. And they gave us the whacker one. That's what they're like, thanks, baby. They were like clowning, dude. They're like, we don't plan on getting this one. And
But when they announced that Deadpool #1 was gonna come out, it literally was a day after they announced that they got the director for the third movie, and they put it out in there, all the reports and everything. So like
no,
this stuff being timed out.
Marvel is the timing with Veve. Nothing else really lines up, and that seems to be a rule or a reoccurring theme we keep catching. Like,
look at Miss Marvel, and now
Exactly.
now they dropped that.
right. But they didn't do anything for DC, for the Batman. They don't do anything for other things that may be going on. It's just really, it is Disney and Marvel. They seem to be the ones that when Vivi's like even struggling a little, like this Woody
the
one,
go-tos, yeah, they
got
got
the one, like we need a bucket.
those are special
and
arrows.
they
They're
hit
gonna
up-
pop them on. This one's gonna blow up. Boom.
Exactly.
You can throw it in at any moment.
Because it did, like the Pixar drop did kind of get a little bit more positive sentiment
And the way
around.
they did it, because I thought it was gonna be like the Mighty Marvels, where
But
it
they
might
didn't
be
go
one
that
movie.
ridiculous either right away. Not compared to other Disney drops, like the
Right, but that's
He's
because
taking his pump up like they didn't do it.
But I mean, he's in a time where the market's kind of down. So I said, if they had dropped that one in January, that thing would have been $1,000. Woody would have been $1,000 off the bat. You know, like easy. It's just for him to even hold 300 in a time where Steamboat and them can't even be hold 300 right now. Hold its old low.
We saw it at 170, and you're like, nah, dude, it's gonna go low. Watch, it's gonna drop. But then it went 200, 230. And I was like, it's gonna get back to 200, and it just never did that first day. Like,
it's the exception to the rule, and we're gonna talk a little about that too. So that was a week of drops. I didn't hit one drop. It feels weird. I've been told that people think I have bots because I've hit drops, and I've gone terribly cold. So if you are, if you've been struggling to get drops, trust me, I feel your pain. When I first got on the app, it was like this, and then I went on a hot streak, and now I've gone completely frosty, and it's painful to say the least, especially on Disney drops.
Hitting that rebound felt good though. Felt crazy. I almost screamed at work. I was like, "Oh shit!" Because I was just, I'm just right there, like, and then bam,
oh, that's awesome. I think overall too for this week, these were interesting drops. Even though it just seems, like I said, running through this wrap up of checking how we are, and for the weekend, it's been just like another week. It just seems like things are rolling along, and there's a lot of news stories, and there's a lot of things going around in the world. There's a lot of things going on in the app, so. It's very interesting like that. There's times that they almost make a really big deal, and then we have Pixar, and it was almost like it was a big deal, but it almost flew under the radar. And we're gonna talk about it a little more. Let's get into the next segment, where we're gonna get a little deeper into this past week in Veve and the things that have transpired in the last 7 days. And let's just keep it up on that good theme right now of what it is with Pixar Pals. And how huge of a drop that was, how great of a response it got, and I don't know. Even though I didn't hit the drop, it just felt good to see Veve popping. Like.
Oh, dude, it felt good because I took that risk. I closed the whole app completely, like exit out with like 25 seconds left, and I'm like, please don't log me out. Please, yeah, exactly. I know, but I know that it also comes in fresh. The timer's good because there's been times where I'm on the wait screen, and if you tap, the seconds start going down faster because you're behind and it's trying to catch you up. So like you have to get it reset at a certain point. So I was like, you know what, go for it. I was worried. It went through, and then I just had to wait and see what I got. But I did like the fact that, like I said, I was thinking it was going to be like Mighty Marvels, where it was based off of one movie and it'd be all the friends from that movie because Pixar has a bunch they can go to. But it was better they did it this way because Buzz Lightyear is another one of those grails. It's gonna be like that with like how Woody is.
Right.
He's right up there. So they would have dropped both of them on the same drop,
and there was
takes away from it. So now it's the mystery of what's gonna be on the next.
And there was that chart that I sent you to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going up. That's just reiterated.
And that was from a page on Veve. I forgot their name. Mr. Planet Profit. It might be Dr. Profit. I don't know, but it's this dude, Mr. Planet, Mr. Profit or something. And he does these crazy giveaways on Veve, on the app, on the social app. But yeah, he posted them, and I was like, damn, Woody is number one as far as Pixar popularity based off of certain metrics, such as Instagram mentions, Google searches, movies he's been in. You know what I mean? And so he pretty much outperforms everyone, and then second is Buzz Lightyear, and then there's everyone else. And there's big names on that list.
Wally's number 3. That's like that golden moment that just stands out right there on that one because Wally is on that list, way up there. And Finding Nemo number 4, that's the one that's for the next one.
I feel like you got that next. You got that top 5 right there.
Dory, they have all these other characters they can pop out with.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit more about the Pixar Pals drop right now, right? Veve actually burned 1 billion OMI on that drop alone, which is pretty crazy. If you're invested in the OMI token as well, which it is great to be in, which also the OMI token got crushed this past week just because a lot of the markets and the crypto markets been getting smacked, but OMI's getting like crushed down right now. It's a great pickup just on some crypto. This is the token. OMI is the token that governs the entire app. So sometimes it might be even better to buy that right now, and we could talk about that in a later episode, but I've been dollar cost averaging back into that, trying to get my bags up on OMI. But yeah, it's pretty amazing that they're able to burn this through big drops, through selling out the NFTs and then through the transactions that happen after. OMI supply in a reserve wallet gets burned, and they match the taxes on whatever gets sold, and then they match the listing price on whatever gets minted, and they burn that in the Omi wallet. So the idea is that once they burn through all of that supply, then they'll start burning through the supply that's available in the crypto market, which will make it more scarce and will make the price of Omi go up over time. So right now, Veve's on a path where if it just stays with the amount of drops it's doing now and all of them selling out, it would burn through all the Omi, which is half of the supply of its entire supply in the reserve wallet within about 2.5, 3 years. So Omi is a ticking time bomb as far as just blowing up. Right now, it's at 1/3 of a penny. So you can get you 1,000,000 Omi for like 3,500 right now. And we're talking VV universe, right? The VV verse. The only way you're gonna be able to buy land is through Omi. So when you start thinking about the metaverse and say if Disney has its own land in the VV verse, if you're able to buy land as close as you can to like say their Disney one, it could be worth crazy money in the future. So that's some really long game. That's some like 2024,
Not
2025
financial
stuff.
advice.
Not financial advice,
I don't
but
trust him.
if you're into the app, you should know that this is what they're trying to accomplish. You're not just involved in buying some pictures and some cool looking toys. Like that's cool. But this thing, you're involved in, it has high aspirations and it's trying to be its own.
There's a lot of jelly in
Yeah,
these donuts, guys.
You believe in VV, you believe in Omi, basically.
Yeah, man. So anyway,
We're talking about that 9.9 million club though, because I was interested when you mentioned it.
So
briefly.
have you guys heard about the 9.9 million?
Only from you, and it made me bust up and laugh so hard, but I wanted to hear about it.
Well, I told my bros that there's this crazy theory and dark thing tied into this movement where if
Not
Tom
our
Hanks
theory.
dies, then the Woody will go to $9.9 million.
We don't wish any
Why
bad
would
on
it be
Tom
9.9
Hanks,
million?
right? I don't understand the
Terrible
9.9
thing.
million thing.
No, I made all that up to mess with my brothers. Honestly though,
Oh,
what's
he
going
said
on
that,
now?
he said they're messaging him.
No, look, honestly, if you go open your phone right now, go to Woody. Go to Woody right now.
On the VV app?
On the VV app. Go to Woody on the collection.
All right.
This is scary. Look.
On the market.
On the market. All these Tom Hanks haters, bro.
Scary.
Go to price.
There is a lot of
Go
Tom
to
Hanks
price.
haters out there, guys.
Go to price. Go to the price thing and go to high to low.
High to low.
High to low. What do you see?
9.9 mil.
How many?
A lot.
All those people want Tom Hanks to fucking die, and it's messed up. And I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just saying to the moon. No, I'm playing. It's just it's like a thing right now. All the Woody holders, they're putting 9.9 million. I don't know if it's just a flex or it's a way of saying they know how valuable Woody is and that they won't sell until 9.9 million. Obviously, that's just a flex. They sell it for 1 million, 2 million, whatever.
You can't get one.
Exactly.
Like
They're
100
just, it's
people.
like saying I'll never sell. And it's become its own little movement, dude. So people are buying it just to do that now.
Well, the Woody hype is very, very real. And people.
So that's why I just want to tell you guys, like, that's how much people are loving that. How much they love their Woody. And I wish I had a Woody. But instead,
I'm glad you don't.
I don't.
That's crazy though. Yeah. And what's crazy about that graphic you sent,
252 gems.
the fact that they search it so much, and like those movies, when's the last one? Toy Story 4 was years ago now. Like, the final one. They're now doing the Buzz Lightyear, like the more like live action, like if he was not a toy, if he was a person, like
Right.
in the world, Pixar world. That one looks dope. Like the movie looks like it's gonna be good. So that's already gonna be another catalyst for when Buzz drops too, and if they drop that version of it. So for Woody, like that's it. That's the essence of it. The first Pixar, and yeah, man, I don't know. We'll see what goes. He's on my hit list for sure.
And as far as like the Up house looks great. I love the balloons. The house looks awesome. But when I actually went and looked at Woody, and when I was just staring at Woodies all day, right? So as I'm looking at all these Woodies, first of all, they're very long, but very, very stiff. No, but seriously, when I was checking these Woodies out, dude, they're iconic. You got Andy's name on the bottom of the foot.
Mm-hmm.
You got the pull drawstring in the back, and it just has such an emotional connection, like. And I think people recognize that, and in the end, that's why people want to collect. And you see that character, and then it almost reinforces why VV is so dope.
There's what, 4?
It was the first, dude.
There's 4 Toy Story movies.
It was the first, 95,
20
7 years old, 8 years old when that came out.
Yeah,
like we experienced that from the jump, and then it was a
That's
part
a
of
huge market.
other people's childhoods too, as the movies came out years apart. It wasn't like they were 95, 96, 90, you know, like year after year. It gave you time to marinate and these other favorites.
When we're getting older and like, man, like that's a part of our childhood and other people's childhood. It extends generations. So it's just an amazing. It reminds you on what the collecting side can really do. Like, because although the price is dope, the price isn't that out of reach either. And if it had dropped in January and boom, it'd be a G right off the bat, 750, 800.
Yeah, right now it dropped to 500.
And people would be like, oh man, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't get it. Like, this is a great time to be in the space. Like, I get tired of the negativity and all this stuff, but I know it's just because we're spoiled, you know. We have so much dope stuff, and especially the people here early, they got so lucky to pick up on all these great deals and build their portfolio and get all these dope items. It's so cheap. So, but man, just a drop like that can just like that, like we were saying last time, BB just got bombs whenever it was.
That was a huge drop, and that one did not fuck up the market because the market was already fucked up. It wasn't like other ones that just crashed it. Like, you know, that one stood. It was already in the downtrend.
Why it kept it low, but no, I mean it pushed us one more leg down because certain prices, not too bad, but enough. Like certain like uncommon Steamboat. Yeah. 470 was as low as it had gotten, and it pinged off 500 again, 520 again. It went to 630 the last from the 007. 470 to 630, and I was like, damn, dude, I should have just bought one. And then, but then I wouldn't have had the site to sell it at 630. I would have rode it all the way back down, and it hit 400 this week.
Yeah,
and that's an effect of the Pixar a bit, because if that drop had never happened, and we would have got another Peely or another like one where it's like, it's interesting, it's cool, it has a lot of reasons to love it, but it doesn't have that connection to this market.
Disney,
dude, it would have.
People are still sleeping on Steamboat. A lot of people are still sleeping on it, even though a lot of people know what's up. I think the dope part.
A lot of editions of these.
I know what the dope part too with this Pixar drop, and what I'm excited about. Like I told you, with the Mighty Marvel way of like it being grouped together, you now have a situation where you can complete a set from different sets. Like, you know, getting all the Toy Story characters and you wanting them to all like, so you have all the buzz. So yeah, it's not gonna be maybe they will make it an official set, like a side, you know, the side thing, like, oh, you got this movie. But either way, you'll have a set.
The sets will be those of those drops.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm saying
have an overall set. Like I have every Mighty Marvel.
Probably.
I know, but I'm
saying
you personally, you're like, no, I'm gonna go after all the Toy Story ones.
They drop a Buzz and a Miss Potato Head and the Slinky dog.
Right.
You know, then maybe like collector to collector, like, oh, I have all of them.
No, that's why.
All the
There's different categories where you collect the category, but as far as completing a set only comes on the drop.
Yeah, yes.
So if they drop 6,
as far as like a where it's gonna say it on the app and everything. But I'm saying for the person themselves, like, you know, they can space it out and get all these characters they want from their favorite movie or from their favorite thing. Like, it did create a crazy dynamic. Like, now I am very excited to see what the next one's gonna be, and already in my head thinking like, damn, who's gonna be the ultra rare on the next one? Because people were kind of felt like put off by Edna, but I remember when the movies came out too. People love Edna.
She's still a top 15 character in Pixar.
Yeah, she's awesome, dude.
So, and remember, the more ultra rare as far as that, it's almost like they're doing the ones. Well, they're meant to be rare, but they're also the ones that not everyone's gonna know. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then they make the most common one, the one that everyone around the world knows who Woody is, who Buzz Lightyear is. Like, for sure, they'll be the common. You know?
And Mike Wazowski's on that list too. He's like number 7 on that list for that search list and everything.
He's up there as well. So, yeah, man. I mean, again, that was a great drop. It was dope to see that one. Hopefully, we get some more Pixar pals. And, you know, Veve always has that button to hit. They'll send out the bat signal, which to them is, you know, the Disney and Marvel signal in the sky. It feels like, or maybe they just know. Like, one thing I heard, I forgot who said it, but he said last year they were promising too much and it seemed like they were underperforming. Now they're saying less, and then
I saw that too. Well, that wasn't even just promising too much. It was like mentioning too much. Like, they didn't give them dates and stuff. They just said, "Hey, we're working on this," and then people were like, "Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?"
That's why over-telling and undershowing. It's
exactly.
Like, just show more and say less. That's all you have to do. And look, boom, you got Pixar pals, fool. Like, you know, these are, oh man, it was just a big drop. So let's move on. Obviously, we had the Ron English drop. one of the big debates this past week, and one of the things to consider was, is this a historical drop? You know, he did. I forgot the exact name of it because I can't pronounce it, but it was Schoolyard, and then the name of the Picasso painting. So is this a historic drop? Does this have historic significance based off of the fact that it's an NFT that is used to support and to send funds on a global for a war to a country at war? What do you guys think? Does that make it more significant? Does that make it a must-have, or give it some type of?
I think it depends on how this all plays out as far as the Ukraine and Russia stuff too. Because in politics, we're not getting into politics on this. Veve Bros, keep it to that.
But regardless of who wins or
no, not
50
who
years
wins,
from now,
not who
will
wins.
it be a little? Hey, this was made for this war. Remember this conflict, or it'll just be another war?
But I feel at that point it would become like I'm not even saying the master collector program, but like a master collector, someone who really just wants to have it up. But I don't think significance as far as overall everyone identifying it and saying, yeah, that is cool that you have it. I would pay top dollar for it or something.
Right.
Nah, it might be a cool little.
I think it's more of like
place mark.
Just have like you say that 20 years from now, you're like, oh look, this is when Russia attacked Ukraine and they did this.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes.
Really but
at the same time, what's that significance in the long?
I don't think it's a must-have though. I don't think
it's a must-have.
Be a long hold. That's a long hold game because it has to become history.
Right.
It has to become.
Good point.
I mean, but them
that
were created. It wasn't like it was a few.
I wouldn't argue against it.
Honestly, like me too. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but it's almost like, hey, it's an interesting enough piece, and like you're saying, and one day down the line, right? So that's enough to put it on the list. Like, okay, it's not at the top, but it's 20 years from now, it's a good conversation piece, and it might hold a lot more significance than we could see right now. You know what I mean?
Of course. It's always a possibility.
Yeah, we're going on that 9.9 million shit. There's some rebel crazy kills Ron English because he did that. Then for sure it's gonna blow up. It's gonna become some big old thing. Like if it's some crazy.
We're not trying to be dark or anything. Art is usually affected by these things. Some tragedy or some kind of crazy thing happened, and then that shoots the art through the roof because a true rock and roller is worth more dead than alive. All right, you hear me, Tom Hanks? Let me buy my Woody first, and you can drop dead. Just playing. You're great.
Tom Hanks actually, his brother voices a lot of his stuff, and he has all the surplus work that he has.
Oh yeah, I heard because it's too expensive.
Yeah,
right?
no, it takes too because he's busy.
No,
he's like, I don't want to do it.
But it costs too much too.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, my brother do it. So it's like,
hey, I do the same thing.
He's gonna come out.
I do the same thing one day. Hey, one of these fools. This almost sounds like me,
man.
So we move on to one of my favorite parts, honestly, and obviously, if you've been keeping up with the show, which there's probably not many of you out there who have, but as you will archive this when we become, homie millionaires and super famous NFT metaverse overlords, you'll look back at this and try to figure out how we figured it out before you peasants. Okay, so it's been this debate. Well, this debate sparked this week about comics and cryptos, minting, grading, scale, which I've been following and using as a guide since November. And they recently dropped the video, and we talked about it last week. We covered it a bit, and I sent it to my brothers, and I was like, cat's out the bag. Now more people are going to be sniping these mints the way we have.
Yep.
And when I discovered it, or at least discovered Comic and Crypto's list, did a little bit of basic math. If they're saying 5%, 30K release, 1,500, So I telling these guys, hey, dude, if you notice on the app, when people list the price, some people will list 5%, or low graded comics, or just mint numbers for super cheap without having a real understanding of what they're doing. Then you have someone else who values them really high and has it super expensive. So I just started finding these cheap ones and started buying them out left and right. So we've been looking for them. This Comics and Crypto put the video out last week, and boom, a big debate sparked over this past week on Twitter with some pretty big influential Twitter personalities and influencers and just BB community peeps.
Yeah.
Kind of going at it. We had the homie, what's his name? He has a page called The Comic Way. And
Oh, that was the one that I saw the video today.
yeah, and he goes on Veve Vault stuff every Wednesday, and they do the Comic Way Wednesday. His name is Dozer, right?
Yeah, those are.
Dozer. So I mean, he's cool, man. He drops comic book knowledge. He's been a collector for many years.
He's a comic
and
illustrator, right?
I don't know if
So
he's
he
an
said, I
illustrator,
think it says on I just saw it today.
oh, I didn't know that. But anyway, it's been my like kind of just practice to just kind of try to listen to the experts. We come in this space and I come in humbly, like, how am I going to tell someone else? It would be like someone trying to jump into the studio and try to tell me something about music that I've made or things that I've been into for many years. It's like, man, you better have a track record, you can't just come in just flapping your gums. So I've just tried to listen to the comic book OGs, So it's interesting to see two of them go at it. And Comics and Cryptos list, if you guys don't know, look it up. I love their page. I follow them. Maybe they do have a lot of influence even on my own decision making and the decision making of the market and the scene. I had not really considered that up to this point, just because you kind of just you don't realize how influential the scene really is. I mean, the community really is with each other. And here's a prime example of it. But anyway, they went at it. Dozer does not think the minting grading scale is anything. He pretty much just dismisses it altogether.
Oh no, even bigger. He calls it a scam.
He calls it a scam that they're using to pat their pockets.
Pretty
which
upset,
anyone in crypto knows
Pretty
that's
upset,
like
yeah,
that's like
low mint.
that's like dropping out.
pissed off.
Yeah, that's
They
like
sound
throwing
like
a
that
heavy
didn't have
blow.
low mints.
But yeah, man.
Well, look,
if you're not familiar with it, let me just say real quick, Comics and Crypto has a grading scale where the lower the mint, say if you have a 30,000 comic book release, the lower the mint makes it more valuable, obviously. But they compare it to a physical 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 grading based off of the percentage of whatever that mint edition, what size was. So it does make low mints much more valuable, and it compares them to real life comics in a grading scale. But Dozer's argument was that real life are graded on physical attributes, how messed up they are, how well kept they've been, things like that. And when they're NFTs, they're already perfect. They're never going to age. They're never going to do that. So the whole debate sparked up.
But
what do
the
you guys
market
think?
shows that the low mints go for more. That's what the market
Well,
shows. That's what people buy on the market when they want that low mint. So I think I understand the argument that he's making, though. It does make sense to say that, because if you have a secret rare and it's number 29,888 out of 30,000, and it's basically saying, oh, so this common that someone has is right there at 232 is worth 10 times more than my secret rare just because of the mint that I got. And I
Well, it's
understand
graded.
that
It's graded more.
scarcity.
Wait. So what I saw from that too is like, so where I take from this whole situation is everyone's had their own strategies about how they're approaching it, right? And even with the influencers and people making videos and stuff, I guarantee you,
But no,
and I don't know this for sure, no, but I guarantee you, none of them show their hands before they made their play. They don't put everyone who follows them on the game.
what
No,
about
exactly.
this?
No,
They don't
This
want
is-
you to
this
know
is
the
what I-
one they're going to
this is what
buy
I-
because they don't want to.
No, I'm sorry. And it's because I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose the stock.
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
want to go on
I'll
without it.
lose mine.
No, you cut me off first.
Go ahead.
So, anyways, basically, I think each individual, uncommon, rare, secret rare, should be in there. Like when you're comparing it, that's the market you're comparing it to. When I look at the uncommons and I do the lowest, show me the mint from low to high, I'm comparing that market. I'm not going over to the common. But homeboy, what was the other guy?
Dozer. Comics and Crypto.
The other guy who said that, like, basically.
The comic
Oh
way.
no, we were watching Cavell Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's another, OG VV head and makes great content. So shouts out to
Because, like,
Cavell.
the scarcity of it, all right, so that if that comes into factor, so okay. If there is a grading system, obviously, if there's only so many of the secret rares, that's going to give it automatic points. I mean, you would just assume for it being the secret rare, but also like the Pixar dropping Woody as the common, it's always the most popular one that drops as the common.
Right.
So those original covers, they're always dropped as the common. So
right.
that's,
Wait,
that's
let me
what
get back
plays
to-
into it as well. If you have the physical and you want to compare it to the one that you're looking at, you're going to go for the common because that's the one that's the physical one. There are variants, but not the VV exclusive ones.
But that's what
Things like that.
People have to be a little bit careful with is that once everything's opened up and you can move your comics anywhere, you can move them to OpenSea, you can move them to, you know, obviously Mutable X. You can move them to Facebook, to Coinbase, and now you're gonna have people with different money and different bags available to buy that thing off of you. They might be like, what's this thing, this variant thing that the app made? Like they never even heard of Veve, but they've heard of Marvel Comics #1 because one of their rich friends has an OG one. And they're like, wait, there's an NFT of this? Great, man. How
Which
much?
they did not change Marvel Comics #1 around much between all the different.
Yeah.
Between there's very minimal differences between them all.
They did that with most of the big
Except
ones.
the secret rare. The secret rare
They didn't
is
do
like
those
exactly like
BB
a
exclusive
different one.
rare and ultra rares. You know what I mean? So they just did the OG cover with a little variation.
The color variation.
Variation. If you notice, you just collect comics that they did that for. That'll tell you not all. It's not a golden rule, but if they did that for a comic,
It's probably a grail.
It's probably a grail.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious they only did it for those. You know. That's why I always go back to New Mutants. You know, New Mutants '98 and damn my collectibles posting right at the end. New Mutants Ultra Rare. If you notice, it's only at $160. I'm like, yes, I've noticed. I'm waiting to buy one. Please shut up. I've been watching it since like 250. Just dropped down and down. He posted that on his yesterday. It's at 225 today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, you know, he probably bought like 2 of them right before he says his video.
Yeah.
And then right when he's up, and I've seen him. I've seen
make
him
more
say,
content.
go buy
Make
that.
your purchases
I've
first.
seen that
Lead
go
him to it.
buy that. And then he's like, I see his name at the top. I like,
We are not.
All right, let me finish my thought on
Yeah.
those 10 minutes ago.
Go ahead.
Proceed, bro.
What?
The whole what? What you gotta say?
What?
Why's he got a
Bro,
mic?
The whole what?
The whole point with the whole Dozier video and everything and all the conflict or people going at each other. The funny part to me, being new to it still and still learning, like you're saying, I never seen any of his videos till today. He was very mad in the video, the way it was coming off, the way they're coming, but it's like none of this is official. This is just something they made. They say it's just for their own entertainment. It's just a way to go off of it. If you take value in it, cool. Then wait. Then people arguing are like,
People jump the gun.
no, but people are arguing like, no, because
because
it doesn't matter. If someone likes that mint, it's gonna be worth more. Cool. No one's saying a secret rare is gonna be worth shit compared to a common. It's not that. It'll never take away from that secret rare. Yeah, in that grading scale,
well, it's
it
worth
puts
that
it at
right
a
now.
1.2.
He has a point.
No, but
Right now, Marvel Comics secret rare is worth 60 racks, while the lowest of it.
then I argue then why even have a mint number on it then? Then that should be the argument. There should be no mints. They're all just as valuable. It doesn't matter.
Because
No, it
blockchain
matters
and
in
all
anything.
that
Matters
is
in
literally record keeping. It's based off
It
of
matters.
having
in anything,
a point in. That's why
There's
like
no-
Yeah, but it's just whatever
collectible.
someone will pay for.
There's
You
no
know,
such
I
because you
feel
have to understand
There's
minting
numbers
is like
collectible,
it's
bro.
supposed to represent a physical thing. So if you had a machine, just imagine a machine was minting, and you plugged in 30,000. Okay, what would you like me to mint? I want you to mint 20. You know, what do they do on the thing? 22,000 of the common. How many are there? When there's 30K, is it
21,000.
21,000? Yeah, okay. 21,000 of this picture, 5,000 of this picture, and you randomize, Mr. Machine, which one you want to do first. Now you have more of the common, so you have more of a likeliness that it's going to occupy that space. So they just don't like the idea. The purist of like the Veve purist of that obviously owns rare, ultra rare, and secret rare. You're pissed, you know.
But
You're
for
really
all
mad
we
at
know,
this.
mint #1 is a secret rare on all the drops.
Exactly.
Because they're not out
Don't
there in the
know.
market.
But
They
that
don't give
would
them
make
out.
it
They hold
even
on to
more ridiculously overpriced. So not only did you have a secret rare that they only had 600, but the odds of that 600 being a triple digit are even more astronomical, which then to me just makes it even more valuable. But it pisses them off that to see their grade be a 1.2.
But they get
That's
off.
why
Because
it's like,
they
but to say that it's
way
not a
though.
real thing, and then you're using it to
But
grade
if you
your
compare
own
floor,
collection.
if you compare floor on each level,
No, I
commons
get all that.
outperform the secret rare as far as the low mint numbers. If you go to the lowest mint, it's gonna outperform the secret rare. There's the exception of Marvel
well,
Comics
there's not
#1.
as many
There's
Not
not
a lot
as
of
many
situations. Yeah.
secret rares or ultra rares because there were less of them in the minting
More
machine
people
or process to
throw
get.
that out there.
Plus, if
And
you
they
do
don't
got one,
post them.
you're
Yeah.
definitely
They
not
don't post
even
them.
gonna list it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Put them
Like
out there.
because that would probably. So I think they'll probably just fix the grading scale. They say, hey, look, once you're at a certain level, then you're already automatically a 9.6.
No, well, honestly,
Because
don't you think
technically,
Veve will
A
set it?
9.8, hold on.
Means
Technically, a
condition-wise.
9.8. Well, because look. If you have 30,000, right? A 9.6 is 1,500. A 9.8 is 750 because it's half of that, right? So now you're looking at 750 and below. A 9.8 still can't mess with a secret rare because there's only 600 secret rares. So pretty much the common under 600 is just as rare as a secret rare floor. And then just base it off of that. Every secret rare is a 9.8. Then
No,
if
that's
you
why that's
happen
the
to be
funny
under
part
that,
about
then
this whole debate.
you're a 9.9 or a
'Cause
10 and you're just,
Even
it's
Veve,
worth a trillion,
they're-
billion, gazillion money.
to think that Veve would
Money's-
take one
Worth
person's
whatever,
idea and run with it
whatever
because I guess
so
it's getting traction of people
Yeah,
saying they're gonna
exactly.
go with it. It's like they're obviously gonna listen to the community, and there's enough people in the community who are.
That's what I didn't
You
know.
know who
That's
they're
what
gonna
his
listen
argument
to?
flaw
Do you
was
know who they're
flawed
gonna
too,
listen to? And Cavell mentioned this, and it's true, and it will happen eventually. It just hasn't happened yet.
To the big boss.
They're gonna listen to the guy who owns, the guy who actually bought the $3 million comic in real life. Because at the end of the day, you could have a secret rare, whatever, and you could list it at 10 mil. It's about the guy who wants to buy it. Because it ain't one of us. We could just debate on what we think it should be priced at. Shit, I could think that this cup could be priced at $1 trillion. It's about the dude who actually bought the $3 million Fantastic Four #1, or bought the MC #1 page for 100K. When that person goes, oh, I own this one. I don't want that VV variant shit you got. I don't care that you printed up 600. Like Cavell had a good point. He goes, scarcity is still trash. Scarce trash is still trash to certain people. That's how they might feel about it. So to him, he's like, I don't care if Veve only minted 400 of those.
But also,
it's
too,
not the one that I own.
that
The one
guy
that I
holding-
want. The one that
That
I
guy
think is
holding the
valuable.
secret rares.
And I'm the millionaire. You
And
know,
then-
so
If you're
That's why
holding
softball
secret
is
rares,
the
right?
space of art.
You're
Even
holding
those
secret
comics,
rares.
it's
When you look at the common market and you're seeing these shits go for a better price point than what your secret rare is going for. You can't dictate that. So this dude going on his rant like it's a scam. Like, no, dude, the market reflects the opposite.
I think it's just,
and people buy those.
he did a little disclaimer at the beginning of the video. You know, he was like,
it's gonna be hard.
yeah, it's gonna be whatever, because that dude's not like that all the time. I'm sure he's like going out on a limb, and a lot of people had it the right way in the comments. They didn't lean one way or the other. They said, hey, thanks for having this debate, because they respect both of the parties involved. Like, you guys are the leading experts. We want to know these things so we know what to buy. And obviously it'd be nice just to pick up nothing but ultra rares and secret rares, but some of us can't afford it. And so we gotta, that's the part with me. The other day I sniped a 3-digit, I think it was sub 600 comic. It was the Black Panther, the Killmonger FA, for $38. Someone listed the thing for $38. It was like mint number 530 something. And I'm just like, damn. Now, the secret rare of that one is still $450, $500. No one's ever gonna list a secret rare for $38. But essentially, that buy might be worth just as much as a secret rare one day. If say, or let's just say an ultra rare then. Not a secret rare will outperform Hala, but ultra rare usually performs 8 times. It 8x is common. And this ain't some stuff I read on a damn meme. This is what I've done my own research. I almost have it memorized because I obsessed over this for a minute, and I've been chilling recently. But I went and looked. How much more valuable is ultra rare Spider-Man compared to the common? ASM1. Yeah, it performs about 8 times. So you figure the day that Spider-Man hits 200, that sucker hitting 1,600. So you have to tell yourself, all right, where would you rather invest, right? And I've also looked at that. Okay, some of us don't have 1,600 to buy that comic when it hits 200, or the 800 to buy right now because Spider-Man's at 100. But I might have 250 to buy me a low mint. I might have me a 350 that I could snipe because someone got desperate and let go of a 3-digit Spider-Man because they got bored, they got tired, they wanted a Woody. You know what I mean? They wanted to get their Woody on. So that's where I feel like low mints offer a big opportunity for the normal, person like me and you, who didn't get lucky on the drop and who don't have huge bags to just say, oh, I'll just buy any mint any floor of an ultra rare and secret rare, and I'll be good. Like, and I feel like some of those guys who made a decision, they feel like this chart is kind of taking it from them now. Like, no, hell no, I'm big money. Like you can't do that to me. But it's like, hey,
but the market
this chart is like, yeah, because
that's
random people who got the common, luckily, can actually end up having something huge, you know.
And in the end, when it comes to comic books and
That's my
collecting anything, the best part about collecting it, besides knowing you have it, is showing people that you have it. So being able to be like, look, I got this number 500. This it adds to however you're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
However, as soon as it really
But a
comes down
secret
to
rare would already inherently have
no,
that.
for sure.
You know,
That's why even
like,
when I saw that, I
everyone who
didn't
owns secret rares, ultra rare,
I
just
didn't
chill.
disagree. I
You
wish I
are
had
the
secret rare.
you all are the shit, and
I have
that's
2
it's
ultra
dope.
rares, and that's
Yeah, like it's awesome.
I have 88
you can
comics,
now put
2
your comics
ultra rares.
vertical and make them huge while you're reading them too.
Oh, really?
It's pretty dope. Yeah,
That's
and
dope.
make it the size of a wall.
We actually had a question in the chat. I don't know if he's still out there. It's Eric Castillo. And he says, "Yo, I'm late for this, but what's a good price for Woody?" Eric, if you're out there or if you're watching, for me, I'm just gonna wait till it hits $199. For me, that's $199 is the buy price because that's the price I saw it too in the market. That was like a medium number. Got lower, it got higher, but it kind of stood in
And there's
that
been
range.
no other announcements
And then it's just been big.
And if
No
there's
big
a huge
announcements
drop
since
that
Pixar.
comes,
I
you
have
can
to
just
think
see
the
it
rewind
plummet.
is coming. The rewind
Yeah,
collective,
you can see it plummet all
they
there.
said
That's
they're
the
doing it.
There's not really a good price because the market could just go
Um,
low.
But you know, to tell you the truth, I think a 130, 140, you know, Woody is in play. You know, I don't know if he'll ever get under 100, but again, never say never. But a safe number for me, where you know,
There's a lot of
you got
editions of that Woody. That's the only thing that like
it's,
they
it,
didn't,
there
they
is,
didn't
but it's
keep
not.
it that
It's
scarce.
Not compared
that
to how
much.
many people love them. Not compared
No,
to
yeah, but I mean you gotta compare that.
But it's
with
like
people
Steamboat
on the
Uncommon
app,
almost. You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
know.
It's
a good price to get anything at is where you're comfortable seeing it go to zero if it ends up going to zero. It's like, yeah, you know what? I believe in it enough that I'm not gonna be mad if it drops $50 more or 50 gems more in the next week. It's like, no, I'm comfortable. I got it. I can do it. You know, set a price where you're at. Like, yeah, I don't want to go over this. No one will know that price but you.
Yeah,
for me,
got
I'll
14,000 editions of the Woody. You know, like that's not
low, but that's not super high.
Yeah, I know,
I
I'm
think
not saying it's
Steamboat
not super
Common
high,
was
but
like
I mean, like,
18,000 and
there's
Uncommon
still- there's still a
was
good amount of them.
13,000.
That
So
low, like
it lines
under
up with the
10,000.
Uncommon Steamboat, which can still hold its $400 value like nothing. So it's like it might dip, like on Steamboat, might dip to
But I don't
350 like
think
this,
Woody's bigger than the mouse.
no, but
You know,
I mean, let's talk about that chart too, though. You know, as far as they asked, what's the most?
that's Pixar though characters.
No, but they asked, what's the most one you want to do? Not Pixar. Which of these is your favorite to play AR with? And Pixar Pals outperforms Steamboat Woody, just as far as just playing AR. Anyway,
Yeah, people have the movies to play
I'm
up
not
with
saying
it and
that the Woody is gonna have, but I think it's up there. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on the Woody. Like it's a big
No,
one.
I'm not saying.
So
I'm
for me,
just
I'm
just saying it
it's
might
like,
dip. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
because it's
don't
at what?
say
It's
I
at
don't see it going
250
under
right now.
100 because you just never know the way this market's been. It has been insane.
It's at
There's things
250 right now.
There's things I seen priced so high. I thought like, man, I'll never be able to get that, and then you see it drop by more than half.
Well, the way I look at it too,
So
there's
that's actually a
seven
perfect
there's
segue right now.
750
The market is volatile.
in the market
It's not,
right now. There's
it's
still
not
750 in the market,
set,
which is
it's not like
not
that
a
yet.
lot, but it's still kind of a good amount right there.
No, but
You're not going to see 750
it's
disappear.
a young
It's
market
following
going-
the same
going through
trend
growing
as most of
changes.
the drops of it from similar mint sizes and significance. The only thing is, like as far as listing, it's pretty much on trend with Steamboat as listing, but its price is holding nice. Its price is holding nice as far as when it was at 300. Now it's at 250. We'll see. It might ping back up
240
to
is the floor right now.
240 is the floor right now. It might ping back up to 300. 299 for me. Buy. Like not immediately, but that's 199. I mean 199. Once I see that, I'm gonna be like, all right, it's good. Now just watch. Does it dip a little lower? Maybe you get it at 189. Maybe you get it at 209. I ain't tripping. It's definitely a great buy, and it's definitely a long hold. Hold that Woody, baby. That's not financial advice, and don't be nasty.
If your Woody lasts longer than 4 hours, please seek medical advice.
Yes,
from
get
your
some help.
doctor.
Get some help. So actually segues up into the next quick topic because I do want to get into Ben's brand breakdown today because Ben is doing the Veve Bros brand breakdown. And it segues into the state of the market, which we know is making everyone anxious. It's a crazy time. People need to step a little back off of the app and look what's going on. Stocks are getting crushed. Crypto's not doing good. We have countries at war. We have America struggling with inflation. Everyone's paying high gas prices, things like that, man. Like all that factors into people spending money on this app, and that's why you see those prices. And I hear everyone talking about everything else but that sometimes. And to me, it really just is that simple. January was a different time, and things popped off ridiculously, and I think it was great to see. But it also gave people unrealistic expectations. It's like when you see Bitcoin rally from 1,000 to 20 G's, and you're just like, oh, it's gonna do that again at any moment. It's like, man, it could take a year. It could take a year and a half. It
You
could
knew
be
how
a
long it took
while,
to
man.
rally to there.
Yeah, like you'd be, if you could predict that, you'd be filthy rich. You would have sold all your stuff on January 17th.
But I also think too, you're gonna have to see that. Like when you were talking about how they were counting how many new gems were coming in daily, and then they like plateaued and then it plummeted. Well, that's gonna happen. People do not have an unlimited amount of money, so when they have it, they invest it. It's gonna naturally take some time, most of the time, for people to throw in more money on the app. But the fact that they've already invested it, they can't take it out. They're in it. You're not going to always see money. And then you're going to see those people who don't want to put in more money, who are going to sell the things that they did hit on a drop for way lower than what's in the market necessarily. They're going to sell it a little bit below the floor, use those gems and recycle them because they don't want to put new ones in. So counting the brand new gems coming in, it don't really matter because there's whales in this. There's whales in this who have sold high on stuff they got for the drop price.
Right.
And they're just using those other people's new money
and so
is their old money, and it
what
just
Ben
it
said
goes
right now
like
is great because he's absolutely right, and it's something that dawned on me, and that's why I bought 15 of these X-Men comics, because if you really track how things move, even let's say the Captain America first appearance of the Falcon, that was down in the dumps, $8, $9, $10. Now it's sitting at 17. It's matured just a little bit. Bigger picture, the people who got in early, they now have items that have matured. And if you're brand new into the app, most people, I mean, you can't just come in and be like, I want a Spider-Man, bought it. I want a Superman, bought it. Like 99% of people can't do that. I've been in the app, I've wanted all of these items, and I've seen them go off and been like, man, I couldn't have bought it at 2 G's. I sure as hell can't buy it at 8, And we have to just remember that these items will mature with time, and we just happen to find ourselves at this part. But there's big opportunity with the newer items and giving them that time to get there. And there'll come a point where we just have certain items that have already moved for most new users, And right now, the people who did build a good portfolio, they're not feeling good watching their stuff down 60% right now, 50, 60%. So they're not in a rush to be selling and scooping stuff up either. I just think when certain things hit certain bottoms, they bounce off because people who've been in the space long enough are like, man, that's too good of a price. Like Amazing Spider-Man, $80, 83. Like I told you the other day, I forgot which one hit it. I think it was Fantastic Four 5 hit like $80 for a little bit, 80, 82, and then it pinged back off of that to like 110. And because you could just see people were like, man, like I got $80, like I'll just go and get me one because this is really, really cheap and this is a really good investment, and that's truly buying the dip. And right now Woody is not dipped. I mean, he's still trying to find his price, because it's so new. But man, a year from now, year and a half from now, Woody might be one of those pieces that people are like, yo, it's a couple grand. Like I want it. It's dope, but you had to have been there. You had to have gotten lucky back in March 2021. All the OGs or the second class OG, all the sophomores, whatever they want to call it. But that's what we're now having the opportunity to stake ourselves in, to get that position now, So keep that in mind, guys, because I'm just going to throw it out there. I may be 100% wrong, and I don't want anyone to get me wrong because I've been very big on Veve. from the start, and I invested a lot, a good amount of money right off the get back. I was like, throw thousands in and just buy stuff, right? So I was very aggressive. I believe in this app so much, but we have to accept the fact, man, like we might be in this. This isn't just a gem squeeze at this point. We might be in a bear market. We might be in things. When I say bear market, that's from stocks, that's from crypto and stuff, but we might be in an overall downtrend that takes us a good amount of time to get out of. And I'm not saying for sure. I'm just saying, hey, you better at least entertain that thought so you make better decisions, because this might not be the bottom, even though we really want it to be. It's better to just dollar cost average in, and that's what I'm trying to strategize right now. But yeah, man, look at the economy, look at how things are going on. No one knows for sure, but we are teetering on things getting better, a little bit, and us kind of riding this, or things getting a lot worse, y'all. So, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything. Do your own thing. Not financial advice.
This ain't the get rich quick.
This ain't the get rich quick plan, but
you thought it was, or you think it is. And for all the people who have the FUD, who are discouraged, I see a lot of people posting, I'm almost done with Veve. I'm like, yeah, be done with it. Get out, come back later. Like, we don't
go
need
list
you.
your stuff all cheap.
Well, get your coat and get out of here.
How you gonna
You know, like that.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep buying. I'm gonna probably just be chilling and not overbuy and not completely stop.
What I've been looking at is some of the stuff that at the time that I bought it, if it was a little bit higher, I know that when I made that purchase, it was smart to me, or it was like, oh, I'll do this one, and I was so low that I would go look back and be like, oh, damn, for half that price, I can get a better mint, or like, different. I'll just go get it if I have it, because at least then I'm balancing at a dollar cost average, like evening it out, and if it does get back to where it should be, where it will be, whether that's a year, 2 years from now, whatever the case, you'll be sitting in a sweet ass position. Because if there's something you want, go check out that market and kind of just hover around it every now and then, because some people are posting stuff up randomly, and it's just
you might get
20
lucky,
minutes,
man.
and it's
might get lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially on those low minutes. That's why I never look at something at floor price. What I'll go is listing day. Listing day, and you'll see the people. You can feel the sentiment off of that listing day. You can feel that shit. Like, where are people at? Are they putting it $5 under? Are they putting it $10 under the floor? You know what I mean? Where is someone putting it? Then you'll see. If I were to go right now, I'd be noticing that triple digits. Fools will be just posting triple digits at crazy numbers, and they're hoping someone will buy them. You know what I mean? And when you kind of see that happening a lot, you kind of see that desperation, like people just trying to fish. Like, okay, where is my thing at? Where's my thing at? Because what's funny about that triple digit I bought of the Killmonger FA is that I was on the listing dates, because I've been trying to stack Killmonger as well. I got like 8 of them right now. I'm probably gonna stack at least 20.
Yeah, that you are for like 65 or whatever.
So it's an amazing buy. Ultra rare right now. Killmonger first appearance. It's a top 25 comic on the app. If you look at it, the ultra rares and from any top 25, they're sitting around 350, 550 range, and this Killmonger sitting at $68, $70. It's not financial advice. Anyway, we're gonna get into the next segment before we get carried away and all this other stuff, because I am excited to check out the brand breakdown done by Mr. Ben-Jammin. So yeah, once again, y'all, you are tuned in right now to the Veve Bros podcast, taking place live from Los Angeles. Shouts out to anyone who's out there, whether you're streaming live, you found us on the app, or you're streaming this later on. We appreciate you guys' time, and we want to offer, more value to our show. So what we've been doing is these brand breakdowns. Last week we jumped into the Rewind Collective, and this week we have Ben-Jammin talking about
Jermaine Rogers.
Which
has dropped. He dropped
the
Choices Bunnies and the Veil Specimen. He's also had a few exclusive drops that you could only. He did one collaboration with Toy Tokyo, which was a secret rare. It's a single set. You get that one, it's a single set. They also dropped the Creeping Darrow, which is actually the Darrow was Jermaine Rogers' first vinyl physical toy that he put out in 2004. Now that one, it wasn't the creeping one, but he has a really, really big following. A little background on him. He's a leader in the field of modern rock pop posters and pop art. So he's done posters for plenty of big acts in the world. Just to name a few, like David Bowie. how huge is David Bowie? He's done tons of them. It's actually
Remember
like the
David?
logo that he has for
David
him.
Yu follows David Bowie I think on Twitter. So they were saying like
Whoa.
everyone he follows, they
We're
pretty
gonna
much
touch
collab
on
with.
we're gonna touch on it with David Yu because that's one of the main things that attracted Jermaine Rogers to Veve. Because we'll get into that though, but he's also worked with for 9 Inch Nails, Run the Jewels, underground hip hop group, Radiohead, Childish Gambino, Queens of the Stone Age, Foo Fighters, even groups as iconic as Public Enemy. Yes, great work for years, for decades now. And then in the 2000s, early 2000s, he started doing these vinyl. He took a trip to Japan or China, somewhere in Asia, and they had the vinyl figures, and he fell in love with them. That kind of became his thing of what he wanted to create as his next pieces of art. And they were an instant hit. He actually got really big. He got recognized as a force off his first drop, which was the Darrow. Just pretty crazy. It's like a little it's like a bear with it's all bloody and stuff. It's pretty crazy. You can look him up. But he ended up
that one's on
dropping-
the app, right?
Well,
the Creeping Daryl.
Yeah, that one, and that one was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So I don't know how those work. I don't know if they dropped the day of, or you had to actually go to it and go.
No,
to the
they
booth.
just dropped on.
And
They just dropped
so
on to kind of
boost it.
commemorate. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in collaboration maybe with Comic-Con, but that one is huge because that one's actually one. It's the veil specimen are built off the Darrows. There's a folklore that he created because he writes. Jermaine Rogers writes stories, and that's what's going to continue. These veil specimens are the main ones he's focusing on, as opposed to the choice of bunnies. He's still going to drop more on those, but with the veil specimen, that's where it's like on Veve, it's pretty dope. That's the sky's the limit. Now back to go to David Yu, which is what he could have chose anywhere to go with his NFTs. He could have went to OpenSea, which he does have some on. But as far as with these veil specimens, the reason he wanted to go with Veve was because they told him their vision of what they wanted to do. And so any question that he asked, like, will I be able to do this with my veil specimen? Like, yeah, on the blockchain, in the metaverse, you'll be able to do this. You're going to be able to do these things. That's what motivated him. He said, compared to everyone else, he liked Veve's vision for these.
And he's someone who could recognize
and
the real deal and kind of
every
have
drop.
that.
If you notice, if you read the stories on them, every drop will add more to the story.
Right.
It'll add more to the story, and so it's actually like pretty dope. And as far as the veil specimens go,
it's funny. I hit a veil specimen, the red one, on drop, and
Whoa.
then I was gonna sell it for $300. I waited. I sold it for $220.
Yeah, I was
Right
around
now
for
it's
that
at
drop. I didn't
$53.
hit on that one, but I was around for that drop, not the choices one.
I flipped that sucker.
yeah, and I actually didn't get it, and now I regret it after doing my research on this, which is pretty dope. See, there's like,
But on that one too, it wasn't blind box. You
the-
had to pick which one you were going for, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
so it was their same price.
It was
but
traditional. It was the OG
But
drop.
you had to choose which one
Yeah,
you were going for.
I went for the common.
Which I went for the ultra on that one. And I was like, big mistake. When I saw you got that one, I was like, man, my bad.
Which there was only
No.
1,000 editions of the
as
ultra.
far
It
as,
looks
as far
cool,
as
though.
comparing it, now it's only because of the possibilities they have, and that's his goal. So it's pretty dope to hear him talk about, because he did an AMA with Veve. He did one before the drop of veil specimens, and that's where he went over all this stuff.
I didn't listen to that one. I
And
remember it.
he fell in love with their vision of like, so I'm gonna be able to do this. I could do that. Like, possibilities are in this. He's like, you get different conversations. He's like, I forget the name of the other dude behind Veve, but he was like,
Alfred Kahn.
you get the
and then
different, you get different answers when you're asking. But with David, it's like we could do it all. We could do it.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? He's like, he makes you feel like your possibilities are endless by doing.
Well, they
this
gotta have
with
a
them.
good pitch.
So that's why he went with them. Like that's why he specifically chose them. And to go on it, if the whole set, if you went off the floor for those veil specimens, it only goes 688 gems for the whole set.
So it's undervalued. It's undervalued like crazy when you even compare
And
it.
there's more to
to
come
the
then.
creepy
In all fairness, now if you wanted to compare it to real world, the real world actual pieces he has, his pieces normally go for 150 to 300. So it's not like they go for so much, but all of his drops are scarce. He doesn't drop many. There's some that he's done only 50.
His NFTs.
No.
Oh.
His physical.
Right.
So even in the real world, his pieces of art aren't. It's very very limited. It's each and every one of them. A big one for him is 500. You know, that's a big drop for him compared to his other drops. And he does do different variants as well though. He switches them up. Where is he at? Oh, there we go. You know, he has one like as Shadow, 250 of that one. 125 of one called Fur Flock. Darrow Skin, only 25 pieces. Phantom, 100, and then a glow in the dark statue for 75. They're very very limited, even on the different variants. If you wanted to get it,
Right. And I mean that kind of matches his VV drops because even the commons they're not that many.
Yeah, there's not.
The commons, there's only
he's known
2,000.
for having very limited drops.
Ones.
Like that's his theme. He also did in 2005 Squires, which are pretty freaking crazy. Like it's like this human head, kind of looks like out of some shit like out of American Dad or fucking Family Guy, the way they look. But it's like he has life size of those, and those are pretty big. And people.
So let me ask you this: you
People
think that
mess
they'll
with him
do
a lot.
Did you say David Bowie?
Yeah,
You think
that's
they'll do a
actually
David Bowie.
the one right here.
You think they'll do one on VV? I
Maybe,
think that'd be
and
big.
possibly that would be huge because
That
the
would be
posters
huge.
are his art, and that's what I'm saying. There's iconic ones. I have some up here behind us. They're very small. You can't really see them, but they're there. You
got
can just
Blink-182
Google them.
right here.
There's a lot. Metallica,
Childish
Childish
Gambino.
Gambino. So he does them a lot for festivals. This one has Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, Erykah Badu. I mean, the dude has a great track record, and the fact that he plans on doing multiple drops, continuing the story. His fans will only grow big on this. It's not saying go get it, but they're not expensive sets to get. He also has his other big drop that they actually dropped. This one was also a designer con exclusive.
Mhm.
So like I said, I didn't know if you had a 10, but this one also the whole set. This one's a little more expensive. They're the choicest bunnies.
Yeah.
Not really a bigger story behind them as far as the veil specimen.
I love these bunnies though. When I even got in the house, I was like, dude, those bunnies with the little knife, those shits
Yeah.
look dope.
Yeah.
So the
Love
whole
it.
set,
Uncommon.
if you went at floor, would cost you 1,200 right now, 1,200 gems. So still not that expensive when you compare it. The floor on the ultra rare, which is all it does not have a secret rare, the floor is 700. That's the one that costs a lot. Because the rare is 235, uncommon is 188,
I love
and
the
the common is
uncommon,
98.
The red one with the black eyes, the assassin. That one just
Yeah.
looks badass.
And like I said, those ones I don't know how far they're gonna go with that. He didn't really touch on that in the AMA.
Did they
So-
talk about, or did you find any information as far as like what his contract looks like with VV, or like how long or how many drops?
No.
Is there anything
but
official out there?
No. He just said he's gonna continue the lore. That was one thing they touched on is his writing and how he does the art, but he also creates these stories behind his pieces. He doesn't just create them. Each of them has their own backstory. Each of them has had an interaction with humans in his story, to where like basically the veil specimens were created by the Darrows, and the veil specimens, the 5 he created, they were alive at different points in humanity, at different points of time on Earth, and they've only tried to tell people, do not trust the Darrows. The Darrows are telling the humans, we work for you, we watch you, we help you, we set the odds up in your favor. And
Like
the veil
demons or like
specimens are like,
devils.
no, don't trust them. They're considered deviants, which is the name of the drop of the veil specimen, the
Right.
deviants. So it's pretty crazy. And
Well, I'm gonna buy me this
thing he said-
specimen 72 bag.
to touch on the question you asked, though, one thing he said as well was that the exposure from Veve is what excited him as well. The fact that like this, how we're discussing him, and I knew nothing about this guy before.
Right.
He said that exposure alone makes me happy.
Yeah.
And he's not in it for the money necessarily, but he's like, but I am an artist, and a plumber gets paid to be a plumber. So yeah, of course the money plays in, but my exposure for my art, my real world art, I expect it to go up as well
Yeah.
by
no,
jumping
for
on
sure it
Veve.
is,
That's
for
why
sure
he
it
did
is.
it. He's like, and I love their vision, so this is what we're gonna do. And he said there's gonna be new physical pieces on the way that coincide with Veve. He plans on doing that as well.
That's dope.
That's dope, man. Well, thank you, Ben-Jammin, for that brand breakdown. Now, let me ask you this, though, because after every brand breakdown, we do want to have some type of grading and scale system. What would you say on a grading scale from A through D, and then maybe the S being the untouchable, super top of the top? But let's just go through A through D. Where would you put Jermaine?
Given the fact that he's huge at every single designer con now, he's a must go to at Comic Con. If you're into Comic Con, you're into all that. So he has his fan base. It's a must go to. It's slept on the app, but like I said, the exposure. I would give this. I would feel wrong giving it anything less than a B, but I'm kind of on that border of an A, because due to the price of the whole set, and they're the first of his, and he has his fan base. He has them.
Well, yeah, dude. Even with the Metallica, the Childish Gambino, like all them recognizing, like obviously people who were in charge of making the flyers, getting these things done, they know that he's a dope artist to go to. And these type of artists are the type they're gonna approve the artwork.
So
and stuff.
I'd say
teeter
between a B plus, A minus.
Okay.
If I had to put it on
So
a grading
Ben-Jammin's
scale like that,
final weigh in
just
on
based
this
off
is a
his
B plus,
enthusiasm and everything. Yeah.
a high B plus, or a low A minus. That's what we'll leave it right.
Right
Almost
on
right
the
out
border.
the A or on the border,
I feel
because
wrong
of the
going any
credentials and because of the mythology in it and how he's built into it, which is important for the NFTs and for the projects, because the more you have that, the more reason that people
Well,
are
and
willing
just
to hold
think,
it.
every designer con now, every Comic Con now, which he has booths at, he's gonna be promoting Veve, which he has been. Obviously, now that I did my research, I see that now. He had one drop at this past Comic Con, which for San Diego was last year around this time, sometime around this time last year, and then he dropped the other one, Designer Con, in November of 2021. So it'll probably repeat the process this year, and it's just gonna keep going.
Yeah, and some of these they're right there at flyer price. Like at least take a flyer on.
I'm pretty
see,
sure
like,
we're gonna have to go to a Comic Con with the there's gonna be Veve drops or Veve something right there at Comic Con going forward.
Exclusives.
Pretty sure they're gonna have.
While we did get
there,
the Veve promo code in the app, I don't know, we didn't talk about that, but that's been around since last week. But if you updated your app, which I think at this point you had to, if you look on settings, now you'll see promo code, which people are like, okay, what's that about? Is Veve going to start advertising? Because people still think, it would think, hey, maybe you don't want to spend too much money on advertising just yet, because obviously you have more things to worry about and other places to focus your energy on.
Like the Dodgers signing Freddie Freeman, you might care about that. You might
not
Dodgers
related, but
Freeman? Hey, for our sports fans out there, the Dodgers just signed Freddie Freeman. Tune in to the Sports Bros podcast every Thursday night, where we end up destroying 2 days out of our week. Every night.
No, that's dope. Ben, the brand breakdown.
Thank you, Ben, for that brand breakdown.
Veve Bros.
Veve Bros.
Let's see if this works. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You motherfucker.
Cut him off with the low.
Yeah, I know.
No, that was a good.
No, I was trying to tell him he has pieces in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well.
Dope. See, yeah, just those type of stuff right there.
So
and with the following,
he is obviously the only
posters,
artist and brand on the app that probably has that you could say that.
Hey, and if he dies,
nice.
And we're going to 9.9 million.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Hey, but it is true. Let's not front. If Tom Hanks were to have a heart attack tomorrow, Woody would go ballistic.
The only thing is I had some Travis Scott gear from before that I was trying to flip on some hype stuff, and all those people got trampled, and now that
there was a genie from Aladdin.
wrong people got it.
Probably wouldn't make that. I don't think that should go.
The what?
There was a genie from Aladdin NFT, and like Robin Williams. I don't think it's gonna go up.
Dude, too soon. And it would. And honestly, the genie.
Hey, that's a perfect segue though.
I'm trying to
get into our third segment, our final segment.
Fucking people are evil out there.
Of the pod today, we're arguing with the upcoming drop speculation, and Marvel and Disney seem to always come in and save the day. How you said that, right? And you're speaking on the genie and how dark that is. Real quick, I got a little gem to drop today. I was putting on a movie for my daughter. I was gonna put on Frozen, and when I went to the Disney Plus app, it made me log in again. And then it asked for a security code that I could put a 4-digit security code, because now they put parental advisory on it and you can put limits. Why? Because they added Daredevil from Netflix on it. They added Luke Cage on it. They added all of those shows that were on Netflix before, they are now on Disney
Oh
Plus,
shoot, I didn't see
opening the
that.
door.
I saw a video on YouTube that said, "Are the Defenders going to
It
be
just happened
introduced to the
today.
MCU?"
It just happened today. Yesterday I was watching Disney Plus. Didn't ask for that. Today I went in.
Damn.
It asked me to relog in, and boom, Daredevil's right there. The first
Luke
thing
Cage.
advertising on the
Go
top.
I mean,
get
it
you a
sounds dope, but I don't want
Luke
those,
Cage, Hero for
I
Hire.
want those watered down, you know.
That
those
Hero for
pieces,
Hire.
man.
I got me a Hero for Hire, a 3-digit for $50. Snipe.
Punisher season 2, jail scene, crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Dude, that
Netflix had the
Punisher
Marvel,
too, they have all
the
of them.
Defenders, and all that cracking for a minute, and they just kind of honestly, once they did it together, the Defender series was
Well,
just kind
people
of
weren't sure if they were gonna, because Deadpool and how are they gonna implement it? It's too dark, he's too edgy,
right.
and now it's like if you don't put the setting, it automatically sets it at TV-14. If you don't put the
you
password
just
in the
won't
stuff,
see it.
yeah, you won't even pop up on it.
and,
So
and
now
and
I said they got
there.
their.
I forgot to say this earlier as far as
That's dope.
I do not think the Deadpool comic was whack. I read it. It was actually pretty dope. It was actually entertaining, and it's actually how when you're reading it.
Well, I saw
It's
you.
funny he said that they were calling him Ryan Reynolds because it's like that. The way he speaks, the humor in it.
Right.
He says all that. He even goes, "I'm not a fucking hero. Like why don't you call Luke Cage? I heard he's ready for hire again."
Right.
He's like, like they touch on this is from '97. This comic, so that's why I believe. I think it's slept on.
All right,
Comics and crypto.
put it right now.
I mean, I bought a few just in case because while they were going below retail, so you might as well just get a few. Hold on to them. It's a modern comic.
No,
You
it's
can't
true,
really
though.
compare.
It-
There's
that
not
is-
many modern comics
that is
that are
very
considered
true, bro.
grails. There's not, or like that. It's still a Deadpool #1. I'm just saying it
Ultimate
could
Fallout.
go up. You never know.
It's the only one.
He's gonna come out in Doctor Strange, and then Deadpool 3 is coming out. It's like there's a lot.
Good
that-
point.
for
Good
his
point. Don't
audience.
sleep on that
For
Deadpool
his
#1. You know
audience.
what? You just convinced me,
Just
man. I'm
saying.
gonna buy 15 copies tomorrow.
Buy some.
Not
They're below retail. You can get
So
them
yeah,
really
let's get
low.
into that the third segment before we sign off because we are trying to keep the episodes to about 90 minutes. So we're right on
the cusp.
we're right on
About to get
line.
there.
We're right on cue. So yeah, Marvel and Disney seem to save the day. I've kind of just noticed that. Veve be struggling or kind of in between, and boom, they give us Pixar pals, and everyone's just like, oh, I'm just happy, posting, just everything the app's supposed to be.
And what's your biggest takeaway from that?
That Veve and Marvel, Veve and Disney, are very close. That's all I could really get to. I don't want to speculate because there was some stuff online about Veve, Disney acquiring Veve.
Well,
Which
acquired
we
and
didn't
NFT.
cover. We didn't cover this, but there was it was another thing this week that did get. I probably should have put that in, but there's still it's just speculation. I think they'll probably just buy an NFT studio. They probably have because they had put out a job listing actually here in Burbank, not too far, Burbank, California, not too far from where we're at right now, looking for someone to fill a position at their studio who knows about NFTs, knows about designing, knows about the history, blah, 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 So that's interesting. And now there's rumors that they acquired this big company. I don't think it's Veve because as great as and big as Disney is, Veve has a different vision and has its own trajectory. It doesn't really need Disney like, oh, please save us. It's like, no, they need each other. I think Veve realizes that, Plus, I think I heard they said like Alfred Kahn like came out of retirement for Veve.
Yeah.
Like he is not for the money. They already got too much money. They already got and then him talking about, Jermaine Rogers choosing that. And it's like, yeah, probably because he recognizes that as well. Like it's not just about the money and they're not going to sell out to Disney the first chance they get. Like they could have done that.
And
at
like
their
you
golden
said,
moments,
and like you said, clearly
that hooked them in.
Disney is dictating some of these drops and it coinciding with news and headlines. Like I said, the Deadpool one, that was right literally 24 hours later, boom, it's on. So it's like there's an approval system for sure, but they're able to control basically how they're putting out their stuff, when they're putting it out.
Right.
And that's like a luxury to have as a company to not be like, where we give you these 20 that you can do, and then you're going to drop them all in 1 month and ruin the buzz of it or what they can do with it. Because I told you, I listened to Chavez, is it Eddie Chavez?
Randy Chavez.
Randy Chavez, sorry. Randy Chavez.
Shout out to the real Randy Chavez.
Shut out.
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
at
get
the
the
10
alligator
cents.
Loki. I'm going to get one of those.
Oh, my man, alligator Loki too. I'll be at
Alligator
the
game.
10 cents only party. It probably won't be 10 cents.
On this last pod too, but they mentioned that about the lenticulars, that everyone was making a big fuss about how they're not the original characters, how they're drawn and everything. But they are renovating Toontown at Disneyland, and it said that he's on that. They said that he heard that it was gonna be that's the new design of it for the new Toontown. So that right away when I told Mick over here, I told Mescal, his first thought was like, oh, if they can do it like in the fun house, each of them have their own house in Toontown where they can make the functionality of it, like where you could put on the window frame or something, and then you have the music playing in the background, like all of that, or when you're taking pictures of the
Alfred
characters.
Kahn talked about when they'll implement where a certain geological area gets you an NFT. So you can only mint or purchase or maybe transform your NFT in a certain space. So that application is like pretty mind blowing because that means I could have a golden moment. I don't got one. So you have a golden moment, and I'm going to Disneyland. And we know because we're in the community, or maybe it's just common knowledge, that if you go to this certain spot with this certain golden moment, you get an AR, a different effect. And when you're there, if you have that certain golden moment or maybe a certain amount of points, you're able to mint a completely different NFT or an extra feature to attach to that NFT. And there's other projects that do this. So like there's other projects of NFTs that you could have them fight each other, or they'll do like there was one called Crypto. What was it? It doesn't matter. This idea already exists where after you do a battle or after you go through this certain thing, like your NFT gets a scar, or maybe it gets some type of stripe, and so imagine they applied this to some of the NFTs on Veve.
Which
you go to Disneyland and you go to the castle, and you got or you go to the partner statue and you got a partner statue. Well, when you do that, it recognizes that that's the original real deal in real life, and this extra feature happens, and then right then and there you're able to get an extra card that says you visited this place. Boom. Now when you sell that NFT or just even as clout, when you show it off, you get to show that badge off, you get to show that stamp off, like, oh yeah, not only that, but oh, you've been to Paris, oh, you've been to Orlando, you've been to Anaheim.
No, but then also too,
what the hell? Like, I just bought it like that. It might be
for
that's dope,
what's the NFT for? Like, well, all you gotta know is that Disney spent time and money to make some fucking NFTs. Like a company as big as Disney took the time out of that company's, time and money spent to partner up with a company.
No, of course, because they know how valuable.
You don't understand what they are.
Dude, like, even at my
Disney understands what it is. You go buy those churros, you go fucking pay
it's a
$25 for parking. That's that company, the one that you're willing to give your money to away for. They invested.
It's funny too is like the way they did email on Snapchat. Remember when Snapchat started bringing out you can have a filter for if you're having an event, you can get a filter.
Video, like even the video of
the geological, like where you have it right there. Like if you're in this place, you can use it now. That's what something that expands to this, and also like so I work in construction, and our our social media person, all that, they're already in charge, like working on NFTs when we have events, so they can have something that people can use to take pictures and have like a 3D logo and stuff. And it's like that's the future of it. So the other thing I took from this that prompt, Marvel and Disney saving the day, is that it gives Veve so much more room to try new things and to like. Who knows how that Ukraine one was going to be received? By the community or by the people who wanted. They were everything sells out, but like as far as like how it's going to be, but it gives them the luxury of like, okay, well, don't worry about it because we got that. Pixar's coming the next day, or we got this coming. It's going to just diminish like any of those negative thoughts because the excitement's still there. People could be complaining all week, and best believe they're going to be selling or loading gems for that.
But that drop sold out in 1 second.
Yeah, and that's everything, even the comics
but it could be done.
People are then relisting for under listing price.
That's crazy.
People are still going for them. So that hasn't changed.
Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers.
I know. I saw.
You guys are watching our show because I already announced that Freddie Freeman is going to the Dodgers.
Just the creepy dogs, sir.
Which brings us to the final segment or the final spot. The final thoughts from my boy. I gotta end the show this night.
I've been waiting for this.
But honestly, I didn't prepare anything or anything. It's just a continuation of the question. I'm not gonna say whether we are or not, but you have to at least ask the question: are we in a prolonged period right now where it's just not VV NFTs, but just the NFT space as a whole, and the market, understand the market you're in, people like, especially if you're doing it for price, not for, but if that messes with your decision on whether you want to buy something or not. If you're saying, hey, I want to buy something that's going to go up over time and da, 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 da. If you just want to own it, you put it away, you're not tripping, then who cares? Who cares at the end of the day? You're gonna hold this for 10 years, you're the best, But so people are kind of on the fence, and let's remember this still is a speculative asset class and just market. Like, there's no research, there's no history of this stuff. We are in the Wild West. We are in the new frontier. Us right here, us as we invest our money and our hard-earned money and spend our time. You know what I mean? So you have to embrace that. It is a little bit of an adventure, and it is a journey into the unknown, a journey into mystery. You know what I mean? So embrace that side, and also just question, what is your strategy if we are going to look at cheaper prices and downtrends over the course of a long time? Let's just say 6 months, 9 months, a year. And what's your strategy?
Buy the dip.
And what's your strategy if we do move up a little and if things start to take off? And so, that's all. That's all I really want. I just want to pose the question to anyone watching. We don't know the answers. You know what I mean? You have to trust your gut. And like I've said, there's certain ranges on stuff. And Cisco mentioned it earlier. And there's so many things right now on the app that I even have my hit list from a month ago. I would have easily bought them if I had gotten some money in my pocket, or I got some money coming in for a song I did. And if I had gotten that check last month, I would have bought all these. I've been down about 40 to 50%, dude. So
they get crushed more than comics.
I made this list like on February 11th, and like I'll just give you one example. Like at that time on February 11, 12, Homer and Bart were at 1.6K. They had come down from 2.2. I thought 1.6K was a great price. It was just at 2.2. It was just at over $3,000. Why would I think, all right, 1.6? Dope, sounds great.
It's on 950 after.
And now it's at about a G right now, 900 something, $1,000. So yeah, I'd be in a lot of pain if I had done that, which just reminds, I'm glad I didn't have that money to pull the trigger. But now, even knowing that and kind of missing that, I am also, since I'm about to get this money anyway, I have to be a little smarter with it. And I really, and here, forget final thoughts. These are just really in my head of my strategy. I do believe right now, if I had the $1,000 to put in for Homer and Bart, there's a big possibility it could get even cheaper. But there's certain items right now that are so new that even if I just spent that same $1,000 on buying them and waiting till they mature, their gain will probably outpace the dip and the recovery of what Homer and Bart do. So that's why, let's just say if I had a G, I could buy the Homer and Bart, but then they could go down to 650. I could put that G into some comics that are really undervalued. The comics could probably go up 50%. That would leave you with 1,500. In that time, Homer and Bart get down to 750, 800. They both rise together, but Homer and Bart get back to 1,100, 1,200. But I made 15, and I'm able to buy them and still have some money and hedge against the fact that Homer and Bart could dip a lot lower if we're in a prolonged, bear type market, or just
that's a golden moment though. So it won't matter at that point once you get your hands on it.
So no, again, it's just about what you want for it. I am a little more, a little more risky, I guess, and a little more trying to. I'm not trying to time it. I'm not.
No,
you can't. But again, if I had tried to time it and get it last month when it looked good, these prices might look good. But even right now, these prices might look good. But what's affecting this market is not going away. It's not. There's gonna be more bad news. There's gonna be more. The Fed's gonna raise interest. Things are gonna go wrong.
And the market could go dry, then they could just go boom.
So you have to factor that in. and not necessarily try to time, but maybe just get a better dollar cost average. For me, it's just, man, it's not a good time to put your money in a big item. For me personally, not right now. This is why, because once you lock in that big amount of money, it's those gems are locked.
You gotta ride it out.
You gotta ride that sucker out. You lock in a 900. Like I bought Wonder Woman at $1,000. $998 what I paid. I could get a Homer and Bart. At the time, Homer and Bart
You're crazy.
was 2 G's. So I thought, it was like 17 or 18. I thought get the Wonder Woman because Homer and Bart are out of reach. Truth is, I shouldn't have got either one of them. I mean, looking back at it now,
You should have bought 38 Marvel Uncannies. No. The X-Men Uncannies.
One of those.
I know this. Ghost Rider hit $10, and I could have bought me 100 of those suckers,
Yeah.
and I'd be up 200, 300% right now. You know what I mean? And even right now at $32,
You
$34
would
bucks,
see Viva Mescal with a sell wall in the market.
Yep. You will one day off this X-Men one. I got 15 of them. You're just gonna see them all at $19 right now. I only have 2 of them. I only have 2 of them. I had 6 of them at one point. My average buy was $115. I sold all of them right around $100, $96. Took the loss on the tax. He's down. The Christ one is down to like $70 right now. So I'm glad I got out of that one. Like I even told you, like there's a couple of them I bought kind of high and sold a little down for a loss, but I'd be down way more and the gems get locked away. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on too long. I just think just ask yourself that question. And as always, buy what you know, buy stuff that you could live with. Like Steamboat, I'm not doing anything with. And if I bought Woody at $199, I don't care if he dips down to 100. He can go down to $1. I'd still know that sucker's gonna go.
Yep.
Choose
And I'd love to have it, And so, yeah, man. Once again, another great episode. And anything else, man?
Before you go, just because I gotta say shit. I was looking for it earlier, I couldn't find it in my notes, but Veil Specimen number 129, which is in there, which is one of the drops of the Veil Specimen, number 129. That's the first ever one he ever dropped in the physical. That's the OG. That's the original Veil Specimen. It's not the ultra rare. I think it's the uncommon.
It's
But-
the
Yeah, the uncommon. It's not the common. But that's the first ever one. So that one's huge for that. If you're gonna cop one that's like a hold, that one right there. It's the first ever that dropped in like 2005, 2006.
Booyah. There it is. So, hey, another great week, another great episode. We appreciate you guys. Let's hit the music on the way
6
out.
weeks
Who
in.
can hear it? Who can hear it? You can or you can. Yo, it's the Veve Bros.
Bro.
We don't know the song
What
yet.
the
It's
fuck, bro?
freestyling.
It's
Yeah,
the
let's
Veve
move on,
Bros.
Bro, but I mean,
Don't trip. This ain't financial advice. It's just the Veve Bros. All right, y'all.
He makes
out of
music.
here. I make music. We'll have the official song up next week. We're coming back. We excited.
Brand breakdown
Another
next week.
Got Cisco got the brand breakdown. He's gonna do She-Hulk.
Do
So I
Nike.
heard.
Brand breakdown.
And we will
Low
see
mid comment.
you guys next week. Peace, y'all.
Are you in studio audience?